Hello, welcome to Pilates Matwork. And today's class is mainly for the intermediate, more advanced level practitioner. However, if you're more of an advanced beginner, meaning this is not your very first Pilates Matwork class, this can certainly be doable as well. As always, do what you can. Don't worry about what you can't. Use good form. Don't go on to the next level of something until you have mastered the first level of something. Today, we do not need any props. However, if you do like a knee cushion, maybe you'd like to bring in a small pillow or a folded blanket. If you like lumbar support for anything supine, anything on our back that would make you feel more comfortable, please feel free to bring in a lumbar back support for that. Otherwise, we don't need anything and we will get started. So let's start standing. And I'm going to come parallel hip width apart, meaning hips, knees, and toes are pointing forward. And my feet and legs are in line right with the hip bones. So that's your ASIS here, the frontal hip bone. It's not about how wide you think you are, it's where the bones actually are. So hip, knees, and toes are tracking forward. Look down at your feet. Make sure your feet are as even to each other as possible. Some of us may not be able to take the big toes exactly parallel to each other, but kind of do the best you can there and just kind of be aware. And then we want the knees to be a little soft. We don't want them to be locked out. We want to be nice and soft. That helps facilitate a nice neutral pelvis. And then we're going to draw up from the pubic bone behind the navel. Belly button is in towards the spine, but we can still breathe, move, and be with ease. Hands can be anywhere that you would like. And just take a moment. Eyes can be open or closed. Where do you feel? And where do you feel it? Or what do you feel and where do you feel it? So if I'm thinking from feet to crown, I want to be able to feel all four corners of my feet. So I'm just going to lift up my toes, pressing evenly into big toe and pinky toe mounds. Maybe that arch in the feet lifts a little bit. I feel both sides of the heel engaged. And then if I lower the toes, I want to try and keep that. My knees are soft. Good. I'm drawn up and in. My weight is evenly distributed as best as I can into both hips, therefore both legs. I'm in a more neutral pelvis position. My ears and my shoulders are in a good alignment here. And I'm breathing. And as I breathe, I want to inhale through the nose. I want to expand that rib cage. And as I exhale, I'm going to purse through the lips and deflate that belly. We'll try that a few times here. Big inhale and expand. And inhale, expand. And one more time. Good. Now, that's the proper way to breathe. You want to exhale on that exertion with that purse of the lips. You will not hear me do that a lot of the time because I can't talk and do that at the same time. But just know that that's what you should be doing as best as you can. And as always, at the end of the day, the only wrong way to breathe is not breathing at all. So if that breathing cue just isn't doing it for you today, no worries. Just breathe. You'll be okay. Let's take some neck stretches here. I'm just going to let my arms hang down. I'm just going to take the right ear to the right shoulder as I'm doing so. I'm trying to avoid any side bends and I'm trying to avoid any lifting of either shoulder. And then if you want more, right hand can come up, resting right above that ear. So it's not a pull, you're just resting it there. Gravity is giving you that deeper stretch. This is stretching the trapezius, that muscle that gets tight along the side and back of the neck. And then we'll come back up and we'll go to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. You can stay here. You can take that hand up, giving you just a little bit of extra. Maybe noticing one side's a little bit tighter than the other. And we'll release and we'll come back. Good. Let's just go to some gentle rotations. Hips are going to move with you here. Knees can bend as needed. Now look where you're going and notice how far you do or do not rotate here. Good. No right or wrong answers. You're just noticing, just being aware. Good. Now from here, could you keep the hips forward and just keep that rotation in the torso? Good. Noticing any differences. So it may be about the same in rotation, might be a little bit less. Good. And then from here, come up. Let's take a big inhale, exhale, press that down. Good. And so as we go through these knee bends, try not to take the hips lower than the knees. Try to keep the hips, knees, and toes and feet all in that same alignment. So they're going right here. So I'm not kind of collapsing inward. I'm not kind of rolling out to the side, or one knee's doing one thing and the other one's doing something else. Try to be even. Good. And then we'll come up. Let's get a nice side bend. I'm going to take this first to the left. So I'm just going to go over to the left. I'm going to let that left arm come down. You want the shoulders and the hips to stay in alignment here. So a lot of times, especially as we age, we tend to go into this forward collapse rotation. Can you open it up? Good. If you're feeling this in the low back, notice if you're in a little bit of an arch, and maybe we need a little bit of a tuck in the tail there. And then we'll come up and we'll reach and we'll go to the other side. Good. Breathing. Also notice if you let your head drop forward or drop way back here, could that ear and shoulder come a little bit closer together? And then coming up. Good. Let's go into a little balance. Right arm up. Weight into the right side. Pick up that knee. So this is our first of opposite arm, opposite leg. And then take that down. Go to the other side. Good. Now you can do this slow and controlled if this is what you need. Otherwise, see if you can pick this up a little bit quicker. Good. Envision your abdominals are lifting up that knee. Reach with the abs, lift with the abs. Good. Good. And then we'll slow that down. Good. Left arm up, right arm up. We'll pause. Breathing, 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 breathing. Bring that down. Other side, right arm up, left knee up. And you don't have to lift your knee as high as mine. Just go to where you're stable. If you're not stable, when the foot is only a couple inches off the ground, you won't become magically stable taking the leg higher. So always work at your level. And then we'll take that down. March, march, march. Let's come to the edge of our mat. We're going to start off with just a basic standing, roll down and roll up, and then we will keep kind of building on here. So couple things, or three things, different people. If you've got a back issue today, a little cranky, or if you're newer, you practice hip width apart. Zipping everything up together is a little bit more challenging. Taking it into the Pilates V, that slight external rotation from the hip, is going to be the most challenging. So you pick your level. Good. I'm going to do hip width apart today. Big inhale, arms are up, arms are by the ears, palms are facing forward. Good. I'm going to keep the arms by the ears as I nod the chin and roll down. So now at this point, I'm looking towards my thighs. I'm scooping knees. It's better to bend them than to hinge the hips back. Try to keep the evenness in the feet. If you're not sure where you're at, and you don't have a balance issue, you can always practice this by lifting up the toes. That forces you to get into all four corners. Good. And then pressing through the feet and the legs, starting from the tailbone. We're going to roll that all the way up, stacking bone by bone. Coming all the way up. Let's open into a back bend if you can. And this time, we're going to roll down and walk out to a plank. Arms are going to stay by the ears. Good. They're moving as a single unit. I'm looking towards my thighs as I come down. Good. As I come to the floor, I'm going to walk that out into a plank. Knees can be lifted or grounded. Shoulders over or slightly behind the wrists. Find your length. Good. If you've walked it out, you can lift the hips up or you can bend the knees as you take your journey back towards the feet. Good. Find all four corners, arms by the ears, pressing down and up. We're going to come all the way up. And then we're going to open. Good. This time we're going to take it down. We're going to take a push up and then we'll stay down. So big inhale, exhale, and we'll round. Good. Looking in the direction you're going. I'm looking towards my legs. Good. Coming out. Now I'm going to walk forward. Good. Knees can be grounded or lifted. Good. Take that little half push up, drop the knees, little child's pose. Good. And then once you're ready, We're going to take this into all fours here. So spreading the fingers nice and wide, rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, pointer, and thumb. Knees are going to come under the hips. Tops of the feet are going to be down. Now give yourself a little test. If you're looking down, if you see your feet in here, can you take them more behind your knees? Good. And these can also be a little bit wider apart if you've got a cranky low back. Now you can't really see my belly because I've got a baggy shirt on, but we'll just tuck that there. So belly button is in, nice and tight here. I'm protracted. I'm pushing away from the floor. Inhale, chest will come forward, pelvis will tilt back. I'm looking up, cow pose. Exhale, I'm going around and tuck, pushing that floor away, looking towards the thighs. Mad cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Breathe just like that. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Find that neutral table. And we're going to take this into opposite arm, opposite leg balance. So opposite arm, opposite leg, version 2.0. Good. So we'll take that left foot back. Good. Kind of get your bearings here. If your balance isn't good here, don't move on. Good. We can take a lift. If that's okay, right arm will come forward, arm by the ear, gaze is cast down, belly button is in. I'm pressing out of that supporting shoulder. And really try to keep that opposite foot and opposite chin down. Think about pressing it into the floor. It really does help with the balance. And then we'll take that down, go into the other side. Right leg comes back. Make sure you're good here. Then a lift. Then the left arm. Good. Breathing, expanding, pressing out of that supporting shoulder. And then we'll take that down. Good. Now, we're going to keep moving through opposite arm, opposite leg. You choose the pace that's appropriate for you. If you start to really wobble, you want to slow that down. But here, left leg, right arm. Left arm, right leg. So as you move through this, notice the shift that happens in the front and back side of the body to help stabilize you here and find that balance. So front and back side of the body, both are working here. Good. Stay with the breath. Don't hold it. Good. And we'll do that one more time each side. Good. And then we'll take a child's pose. So opposite arm, opposite leg work is great work. Helps with balance, strengthens the whole body. And then from here, once you're ready, let's come onto our back. So come onto your back in the way that's best for you. And once you get down there, just because it might just feel good, take the feet as wide as the mat. Your arms, your hands can be anywhere that's okay for you right now. But do zip up the front body and then let the knees gently go side to side here. For some of us, especially as we age, we get a lot of tightness back there. And it's just good to kind of loosen some of that up before we go to different types of work. It's also a great one to do before you go to bed at night and before you get out of the bed in the morning. Good. Now we'll bring the feet and the legs back, parallel hip width apart. I'm going to take my arms to the side, rolling the shoulders back and down here. Just take a moment to assess what parts of the body are and are not touching the mat. Again, no right or wrong answer specifically. You're just kind of noticing the natural curvature of the spine. Good. If you're really if the tail is really tucked and the low back is really jammed in there, maybe just kind of release that a little bit. Good. Good. And then rolling the shoulders back, pressing the arms in. We're going to take this into pelvic clock, zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel. This is deep, deep transverse abdominis, deep abdominal work. So I'm going to take this back towards the belly button. So I'm pointing the pubic bone towards the belly button. That's your 12 o'clock. And then I'm going to take the hip bone to the left and then down and right and back up. Good. So this is very subtle. Good. Go ahead and do these It should almost feel like a box. To most of you, it may not look like my pelvis is moving much at all. That's kind of how you want it. If it's a big movement, then you're not really doing pelvic clocks. Good. Now, from here, my tailbone is pointed down, and I'm going to reverse that direction. So now I'm going to come to my left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down. One more. Left, up, right, down. Bring the knees into the chest. Stretch out that low back. We're going to take this into some articulating bridges. Articulating bridges, we're going to go right into it. Feet are going to come down. Make sure they're not too close or too far away. Rolling the shoulders back. Remember, it's not just pressing into the feet. You're also pressing into your hands, your arms, and shoulders here. Zipping up nice and tight. Feet, arms, hands, shoulders. Rocking that pelvis back. Heeling up bone by bone. Lifting up through the chest. If you're pushing backwards, take your knees more forward. That will help your hamstrings do what they need to do. And then from the mid-back, we'll lower through the rib cage, through the lumbar, through the sacrum, and back to the tailbone. Rocking back through the sacrum, through the lumbar, through the rib cage, up to the mid-back, lifting up through that chest, pressing into those arms and shoulders, and lowering down from the mid-back, through the rib cage, through the lumbar, through the sacrum, and back to safe neutral. Good. Now we're going to do that with an opposite arm, opposite leg bridge. So from here, I'm going to take that right leg here. Good. And it's going to be the left arm. So once you're ready, we're just going to lift here. No articulation. Good. Lifting up, taking it back, and lowering that back down. Good. We'll do that again on this side, and then we'll go to the other side. Pressing up, left arm, right leg, and lower down. Good. Right foot's going to come down. We'll go to that other side. So that's going to be the left leg and the right arm. Whenever you're ready, inhale, exhale, lifting up, right leg, left arm, and taking it down. And one more time. Good. Left leg, right arm, and then taking that down. Good. Bend the knees, bring them into the chest. Rock, 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 side to side. All right, let's take this into a supine twist. So I'm going to take my knees in the tabletop, arms out to the side. I'll let those knees drop all the way over to the left. I'm going to look to the right, trying to keep the right shoulder down. Breathe and expand through that rib cage. A little stretchy. Good. If you have a sensitive low back, you're going to take one leg at a time. Otherwise, you can bring both legs back together. And then we're going to take those knees all the way over to the right, keeping left shoulder down, looking to the left. And when you're ready, good. We're going to come back to center, one leg at a time, or using both. Good. We're going to take the feet down. Now we're just going to take some basic crunches through center. And I'm going to give you different options. Some people like to be in a C curve and just kind of reach the arms here. Some people like to reach through the legs. Some people like to have the hands behind the head. All of that is fine. That's going to be your personal preference. It's going to be easier if the feet are on the floor. It's going to be more challenging if you're in tabletop, more challenging still if you're up, and more challenging still here if you're in a diagonal line. Okay, so I'm going to choose tabletop today and hands behind the head. If you're choosing hands behind the head, make sure that the elbows are out wide and you are not pulling with the neck. You are lifting up through the chest. And we're going to take this 15 times through center. Zipping up nice and tight. Inhale to prepare. Belly button is in. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. From here, you can take that little break. We're going to go to a single leg stretch, single leg stretch. So from here, knees are going to come into tabletop position. If you've got a back issue and don't want to lift, you've got some options. You can take your arms to the side and you're just going to kind of reach, just like that. If you want a little bit more upper body with that, you can take your hands behind your head and do it. Those of you that like the full single leg stretch will follow me into the C curve. So from here, I'm going to come up. Good. Right knee in, left leg long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and bring that down. Double leg stretch. This can be done with or without the C curve. If you're going without the C curve, you're just going to reach and you're going to pull back in. You're going to reach and pull back in. C curve, follow me. C curve it up. Good. And we'll inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale, and come down. Okay. So going into a little bit of crisscross, you've got some options. Feet can stay down. Good. So if you're going to keep the feet down, elbows are going to come out wide. Good. And this is the first of 2 sets of oblique work that we're going to do here. You can go here and just come up and do that. Or you can add the knees with me. It'll be like this. Okay. Elbows are out wide. You're leading with the shoulder, not with the elbow. Hips will stay grounded no matter where you're at. Zipping up nice and tight. Here we go. To the left and right. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. 6. 7. And 8. Woo! Let's up that breath there a little bit, but I was breathing, and that is okay. Okay, so second set of oblique work. You can do another set of those if you would like. The ones that you just did. You can make the ones you just did a little bit harder if you had the feet on the ground and you want to do here. Those of us that want something a little bit different, you take your knees in the tabletop, let the knees come over to the left. Hands are going to come behind the head. Now you're going to do an oblique crunch, okay? These are going to be a set of 12, a set of 12, okay? So if you've got your feet on the floor, just go to the right side. You're just going to only do the right side. So zipping up nice and tight. Here we go. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Carefully come back to center. Wiggle anything out that you need to wiggle out. Get set up for the version of these that you're going to do. Knees are going to go to the right side now to work the left side. If you did one of the other variations, you're just going to stay with the left side. 12 times. Here we go. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. Taking that back in and rock, rock, rock. Side to side. Okay. Let's take this into another twisty. Arms out. Let the knees come over to the left. Looking to the right. Breathe and expand. This will feel different to different people based on the types of oblique work that you did. And then we'll come up through center and we'll go to the other side. Breathing. Oh, we've still got some more core work here. We've got the hundreds coming. Oh, yes, after all of that. Oh, yes. So from here, feet can stay grounded. You can be in C curve or not. You can be knees on tabletop. You can do legs up to the ceiling or anywhere along the diagonal line. I'm going to take a diagonal line for this one today. So I'm going to take C curve. So my arms are going to be up, zipping up nice and tight. Big inhale. Exhale, as I see curve up, I'm taking my gaze to my thighs. I'm reaching long and low and strong. Start pumping from the shoulders. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come up higher. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, reach deeper. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold. Lift the chest higher, reach deeper through the arms, and take that down. Woo. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's go into some hamstring stretching here. I'll take a little stretch break. Good. I'm going to start on the left side. Your right knee can be bent, so that leg can be extended long. Your back is going to be in charge. I'm just going to let my hands travel up the back of that left leg as high as they can go. Upper body is grounded, keeping a little soft knee here. And then you can find your best spot by pointing and flexing that foot. Breathing. If your right leg is long, could you reach it a little bit longer? Is that possible for you to do that? If not, no worries. Good, and then while we're up here, just roll that ankle in one direction. And then in the other. Good. Let's bend that knee. We're going to go to a different twisty. It can be bent here, but I'm just going to give it a little bit. We're just going to go into another little twist here towards the right. Breathing and expanding. Try not to let that foot kind of dip down lower than the knee. And then we'll take that back center and we'll take a switch. So hands come behind that right leg as high as they can go. Left knee can be bent or that leg can be long. And then you can point and flex that right foot, finding your optimal spot. Or maybe you just like the feeling of that point and flexing like I do. Getting a stretch on the back side when I'm here. Getting a stretch on the front of the foot and the ankle when I'm here. Breathing. And then while we're here, let's roll that ankle around. Noticing if one side is a little bit tighter than the other, and maybe not. So it's always good to check in periodically and notice your body. Why are you tighter or looser on one side? Is it because one side's stronger? Is the stronger side your compensating side? All kinds of things. Good. And then once we're ready, good, we'll do that little bend in the knee. We'll take that twist to the left again. Careful not to let that foot drop lower than the knee here. And then when you're ready, coming back in, bring those knees into the chest. And when you're ready, we're gonna roll like a ball. If rolling like a ball is not appropriate for you, just roll over to your side and come to a seat because that's where we're gonna end up going. If you're rolling like a ball, careful not to swing the legs. And I like to grab here because that kind of avoids that, but you can also grab back here. I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna use my breath and my abs to do this roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, coming all the way up. Good. Let's take this into a wide-legged fold. A wide-legged fold. So we're going to come wider than the mat here, but we don't want to come wide as possible. We want to give our body some room to come into the stretch. So toes, knees, and hips are going to point upward. Good. Zipping up nice and tight. I'm just with a nice long back. I'm just going to walk my hands out. Good. So you find your stretch. It's okay if your chest could come all the way to the floor. Mine is not possible that day. I'm about 50-50 on that one. But just go to where you can go. Be mindful about any pulling, too much pulling, the hamstring and the attachment, and any kind of uncomfortable pulling sensation from the low back. Breathe and expand to that rib cage. And then we'll come back up. Let's go into a saw series here. So I'm going to take my heels as wide as the mat. Good. So I'm coming into an anterior tilt of the pelvis, which just means I'm taking my hip bone more forward and my toe bone more backward. Good. Keep the knees soft if needed. We're going to go into spine stretch forward, spine stretch forward, relaxing the shoulders. I'm peeling off that imaginary wall. I'm going to nod that chin. Good. I'm looking towards my thighs. I'm scooping in that belly. So peeling off that imaginary wall one by one. I'm reaching to where I can reach, maybe ears by the biceps. And then from the tailbone, I'm going to stack up against that imaginary wall, bone by bone, coming all the way up. And we'll go for number 2. And 3. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Taking hands behind the head today, keeping both hips on the floor. We're going to go into a side bend. So we're going to try to touch the low rib cage to the top of the hip. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can rotate from here as well. Both hips on the floor, shoulders down, elbows out. Going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming out to saw to the left. Rotate. Reach and round. Both hips are grounded. Stack and return. To the right. Reach and round. Stack and return. To the left. Reach and round. Stack and return. To the right. Reach and round. Stack and return. One more time each side and rotate. Reach and round. Stack and return and rotate. Reach and round. Stack and return and take a break. We'll take this into open leg rocker now. So if you're someone that can't rock, then you've got options. You can play with a boat pose here, keeping a long leg. You can take your hands up here and just practice that balance, or you can rock with me 4 times. Right foot, come up. 2, 3. Oh, and 4. Always careful not to roll back on the neck. Good. We can cross those ankles, coming forward. We're going to come prone now. We're going to be on the belly, and we're going to take this into swan. So you choose your level of swan. The highest one is obviously considered more advanced, but if you need to just do little baby swans here because maybe a deep extension is not for you, then feel free to do that. But I'm going to take my hands a little forward into the side of the shoulders here. I'm going to make sure that my forearms and elbows are on my mat. My legs are going to be about hip width apart here, rolling the shoulders back and zipping up that front body. 4 times. You choose your swan as you come up. Shoulders stay down and back. No crunching or hanging in the back. No hanging in the shoulders. And we'll lower down bone by bone with that control. There's 1. Inhale. You're going to lift and press up for 2. And lower. Good. And on an inhale, you're going to come up and find 3. Lowering down bone by bone on that exhale. And then last one here, inhale. And exhale. On that way down. Good. We're going to come back to opposite arm, opposite leg. So I'm going to take my arms up here. And I'm going to take, kind of thinking about making a little X with my body. So my hands are at the corners of the mat and my feet are at the corners of the mat. So I'm going to zip up nice and tight here. As I lift up my right leg, I want to lift up the left arm. Good. and lower. Zipping up that front body, it's going to be the left leg and right arm. And lower. Again, left arm, right leg. And lower. And right arm, left leg, and lower. Now, if that feels good to you and that position feels good to you, feel free to stay here. Bring your arms and legs now more parallel, shoulder width, hip width apart. Good. And we're going to do that again. So from here, zipping up the front body, I'm going to take right arm, left leg, and then lower. And then taking that to the other side and lower. Now, this is a swimming prep. This is a slow swim here. But if you like to take this a little bit quicker, good. Kind of find your balance and find that. The faster you go, the harder it is. You want to try to find that balance in the pelvis where you're not rocking side to side. I'm going to keep mine at about this pace, but feel free to move through it faster if that's what you like and that's what you want to try. Good. Getting into the rear end, getting into the back of the shoulders, getting into the core. Good. And then we'll take that down, hands under the shoulders, press back, taking a child's pose. Woo. Moving forward into a side series, I'm going to come onto my right side here first. You can be up on the forearm. You can be on the elbow. You can be down here. Good. I'm going to be right here, I think. Good. So different ways you can do this. Bottom knee can be bent. Good. I like the long parallel stack. That gives me the challenge that I need. Some people like to hinge forward from the hips at about a 45-ish degree angle. Just make sure if you're doing that one, shoulders and hips are still in that alignment. Okay. So you kind of find where you need to be here. Belly button is in, nice and tight. Let's take this top leg into an external rotation. So hip, knee, and toe are going to turn towards the ceiling. Big inhale, lift, exhale, and lower. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Lower on that lower. Good. From here, we're still in that external rotation, taking 6 circles to each direction. Good. 1, 2, 3, keeping the hips even. 4, 5, and 6, and reverse. 6, 5, going in the right direction here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to bend this bottom foot or bottom knee. We're going to come right here. Now we're going to do some work with that inner thigh. So from here, good. You can externally rotate again. So to externally rotate the bottom, the toes are going to point towards the floor and the heel is going to be more up towards the ceiling. So we're going to lift here, zipping up nice and tight. Good. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Here's those little circles, 6 times each direction. 1, a little bit harder now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good job here. Take that top leg, kind of bring in that knee, grab the shin, grab the foot. You're going to take the knee and the foot behind you. Hips you're going to take forward. You're just getting a nice quad stretch on that top leg. And then when we're ready, good. Before we go to the other side, we'll release and we're going to come back onto the belly. We're going to take this into a forearm plank here, So shoulders are going to be over or behind the ankles here. You can be on the knees or up on the toes. So palms can be anywhere, that's comfortable for you. I like to make fists facing each other, but whenever you're ready, drawing up and in. We're nice and tight. Good. And lift and find your forearm plank. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll drop, child's pose. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take side series to the other side. So I'm just going to kind of switch around here, coming to my left side. You want to try to have the same hand and arm placement that you did on the other side so that you train evenly on both sides. Same thing with the legs. You want to do it the same way on both sides. Good. So I'm in my parallel here. Good. I'm zipped up nice and tight. I'm on my hips. I'm not back on the glutes. So hips are facing forward. Good. I'm externally rotating this top leg. And then from here, good. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I think we were supposed to stop 6. We'll just stop right there. 1 won't kill us. Good. And then here we go into the circles, 6 in each direction. We'll go 1, 2, control it through the core. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll release. 6. We'll reverse. 5, 4. I'm really feeling this right here. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now from here, I'm going to bend. I'm going to take that foot here. We're going to work that inner thigh now. So heel's going to come up, toes going to point more towards the floor, zipping up nice and tight. Here is those flips. 6, 5, lift from the hip, not from the knee. 4, 3, 2, 1, and those little circles. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bend in this top knee. It's going to come in. You're going to grab the shin or the ankle. Knee and foot are going to go behind you. Hips are going to come forward. Good. Getting that nice quad stretch here. And when you're ready, good. We're going to take this into a plank. Now, you can do a forearm plank again if you need to. It's going to be a little bit harder down there, but it is doable. But I'm going to come up to a high plank here because we're going to go into opposite arm leg variation there. We will have different levels as we go through that journey. So you stop at the level that's appropriate for your body. So from here, I'm going to find my nice high plank. This can also be done on the knees as well. Good. So from here, I want to make sure I'm good. So I'm making sure my feet are about hip width apart. Good. And I'm going to lift the left leg. Now, that might be where some of us start. Others are going to try to lift the right arm. And it is a challenge. You will wobble, but it's doable. It's doable. We'll take that down. We'll drop the knees. Child's pose. Whew. That's one I used to be able to do when I was younger. I gave it up for a little while because I had, different shoulder issues and whatnot. Now that I'm mostly back to healing, I'm back to trying that out in small amounts again. So if you're in the same boat, remember, just try again if you're able. So find that high plank, find the plank that you're starting with. Good. Making sure that your feet are good. Good. Now the right leg's going to lift. If this is okay and you're not wobbly here, we don't go on until we've mastered the first step. Then maybe the left arm can come forward. Woo. Woo. Stay with the breath. Stay with the breath. And then we'll take that down and come down and child's pose. Whew, that was challenging. Let's go into some mermaids here. So I'm going to start. There's a couple ways you can sit. You can start by taking your feet and legs kind of like this. Feet are going to go to the right first, or you can come into the Z position, which is more like this. I like a letter Z. Good. Arms out, big inhale, exhale. I'm going to take this all the way over to my left, reaching nice and long from the fingertips all the way down to that hip. If it's appropriate for you, from that length, find a rotation and reach. And then we'll open that back up. Arm comes up, we'll come up and counter stretch. Let's take that into number 2. Coming here, taking it down, going to your limit. You may not come all the way down. You might come all the way down. Good. Maybe a little bit of a rotation. And then opening up, arms up, reaching up, taking it over. And then coming up. And then maybe a little bit of a gentle rotation here towards the right. Whenever you're ready, good. We're going to switch out those feet and legs. So again, you can stack, you can Z, arms out to the side. We're going to come to the right side now, reaching long over, getting that nice long stretch. You can stay here or you can rotate if appropriate for you. And then opening back to the side, moving through center, counter stretch. Good. Let's take that one more time. Moving through center, taking it to the right, reaching over. Good. Finding rotation if that's appropriate. Opening to the side, moving through center, counter stretch over. And then coming to a seat and taking that nice rotation. Good. From here, I'm going to take my hands down, coming to all fours. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. So I'm going to step one leg back at a time. Good. Finding that nice little pike position, shifting the hips back. Good. Shoulders away from the ears. Just get that nice stretch here. And then with bent knees or long legs, belly button is in. You're going to walk those hands back towards the feet, putting a bend in the knees, walking the hands back up. Let's take those arms up overhead, getting a nice little final back bend here and coming down. Way to go. You made it through this Pilates Matwork challenge. I hope you had a wonderful practice, and I'll see you again really soon.